It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, everyone. From Ernie, Shaq, and Kenny, we're all looking forward to the same thing, the first game of the regular season. Tonight, it'll be the Golden State Warriors going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Crowd here in Golden State's Oracle Arena. We'll see the Oklahoma City Thunder facing the NBA champion Golden State Warriors. And we've been waiting for this day for a long time. It's opening day in the NBA. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here in the start of a new season. With Greg Anthony, Chris Webber, and David Aldridge, Kevin Harlan. And joining us tonight, a man who once said he will never write another traditional sports column. Please don't say that. So, Bill Simmons, don't say that.
Well, now you just have to tweet. You need 280 characters, and you can pretend you're a writer.
What do you think of social media?
I actually think for basketball, it's been a huge advantage. And it hasn't been a huge advantage for a lot of other things, but I think it's made basketball a lot more fun. I do worry, though, sometimes that people are just watching their Twitter feed over the games. I still think there's an advantage for people who actually are watching what's going on versus watching people's reactions to what's going on.
Interesting. So here's Oklahoma City's starting group. Westbrook and Robertson, the backcourt. Inside pairing is Grant and Adams. And it's George in at the 3 slot. Now, here's George. Nailed from three-point land. George has got his first 3 points of the game. Draymond Green, everything he brings to the table, his defense, his charisma, his offensive game, a great passing game. Is there a player you compare him to?
Well, I have a soft spot for Draymond because we did the courtside show for HBO, behind-the-scenes finals thing.
Yes.
And he had some of the most unbelievable stuff that we couldn't keep in the show.
No kidding.
Draymond is one of a kind because he's basically a center, but the only other center who's really succeeded at his size was Wes Unseld a million years ago. He's a stretch 5 who doesn't really shoot threes that well, but tends to make them when he absolutely has to.
Steve does not want him taking threes.
No.
Not at all.
But when he actually takes them in a big spot, a lot of times they go in.
No. Okay,
yeah, he's a great no-yes guy.
Yeah.
I think he brings all their alpha. I don't think Durant and Curry are the traditional alphas, and I think he's kind of the bulldog and the let's-go guy.
And you need that on a good team, don't you?
And the best thing with him is when he's playing well, they're unstoppable. When he has it, and there's nights, I thought during the 25-game winning streak to start the 16 season, I thought he was incredible. And the intensity that he played with every night was really inspiring.
Triple doubles and
my God,
every category.
Taking on crowds and just, I just love that guy.
Bell, he's checked in for the Warriors. Iguodala comes in for Kevin Durant. Sean Livingston, he's checked in for Steph Curry. The first quarter of action, 2 minutes in. Livingston with it. Westbrook picks him up. And the call is going to be, yes, it is, an illegal screen. Bill, several of your books have been bestsellers. How did it feel to see your work so well received around the world?
I think I was really happy that the basketball book did well because I spent a long time writing it, and it was 700 pages. And when it got mailed to me, it was so big, I thought people would just be terrified of it. And, you know, it turns out...
I think they embraced the size.
I think they did. They liked it. I designed it for people to be able to put on their toilet or bring on an airplane or whatever they want to do with it. But I was always amazed that there wasn't a basketball book that tried to kind of group all these other books and some of the opinions and all the misinformation. Like the fact that, honestly, the reason I wanted to write the book was just that people thought Wilt Chamberlain was better than Bill Russell. And yet every single thing written in the 60s was that Bill Russell was better. And all the players would say Bill Russell was better. And when they played together, Bill Russell's team won. So it's like, how do we get to the point where people think Wilt Chamberlain was better? So it was that and some other stuff that made me want to write the book.
Now, here's Livingston. Following the miss by Russell Westbrook. Got that one up quick.
Well, great concentration by Livingston. Able to convert the defender in the shirt.
On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, Billy Donovan gave me a few minutes going into the first game of the season. He said we have to attack them inside and in transition. See how that works out. If they don't adjust, we're going to keep pressing it. Well, Kevin, that seems like a good idea considering his explosive team that he has. Back to you.
All right, David, thanks. Nerlens Noel checks in for Oklahoma City. And George gets it to go. And before the ownership changed in 2010, the Warriors franchise really staggered.
Yeah, they staggered to the point that in 2012, I wrote a long column for Grantland about, it was like the 60 reasons you can't blame the Warriors fans for booing their owner on Chris Mullin night. And I went through their whole history since they won the title in '74 of just all the horrible things that happened to them, all the dumb moves they made, all the dumb trades, all the things they never should have done. It was extensive. And after things flipped around, people mail me that article all the time, like, can you believe it? We've won 3 titles in the last 4 years. You just wrote this. It feels like yesterday. And it was. It's one of the most amazing turnarounds of any franchise I can remember.
I'm assuming you're a fan of the front office.
Yeah, very, very smart. But, you know, the pieces were there. When they bought the team, everyone thought they overpaid. And not to toot my own horn because I've been wrong a million times, but I was one of the only people who didn't think they overpaid. I just felt like that market was awesome. I loved their fans. It was in the heart of Silicon Valley. It made sense that they should be a juggernaut, you know, and they had never really had good ownership. And as we learn over and over every year at the Knicks, like, owners matter. They just do.
And the Warriors decide to take their first time out here.
And he could tell his guys were dragging a little bit, calling timeout to kind of let them catch their breath.
The Warriors making a switch here. Green's checked in. And then for Oklahoma City, Patrick Patterson. He's checked in for Adams. Felton comes in for Roberson. And Dennis Schroeder subbed in for Russell Westbrook. Bill, we know about the love affair you have with the NBA, and you've written about it for so long. Started with the $4 ticket in Boston with your dad.
Yeah, my dad bought season tickets for the 1973-74 Boston Celtics, and it was only one ticket. And I think it was $4 a game, probably like $160 total. And he used to carry me in mainly because they didn't want to pay for a babysitter. So I started going to games that year, probably sleeping through a lot of them, and they won the title.
How old were you in 72?
So I was 4.
4 years old.
I'm not going to lie, I don't remember anything from that season. The first season I remember is the year later when they lost before the finals to Washington. And then the year later they won the famous finals against Phoenix, the triple overtime game. I was there.
Was Cowens on that team?
Cowens, Havlicek,
Yep.
JoJo White.
Yep.
And I was at the triple overtime game in the 76 finals. It was probably the most famous NBA game ever of the, the kids out there now would nominate like Game 7, 2016 or something. But triple overtime game was the most famous game ever. And I slept through the entire second half and the first overtime.
Oh, no.
But then woke up because everybody was standing the whole second overtime, so I had to get up.
And the pass there floated it up to the precise spot it needed to be.
And no messing around on the finish. He powers it through. And it's good for 2.
Man, this thing is just going back and forth tonight.
Each team is stepping up, rising to the challenge. Yet another lead change.
7-second difference, shot and game clock. That's tipped. Iguodala with the steal. One-on-one here. Here's Green, and a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. That one on George.
I mean, for Draymond, defense is still his calling card. The versatility to switch 1 through 5, contain, get back, communicate, be in a position to help. He does it all.
That free throw, no good.
Wow, what, did he have something in his eye on that shot?
Maybe. And he sinks the second.
When he keeps his emotions in check, Green is a fantastic leader on the court. He can run a little hot, but there's no doubting his drive, his willingness to do whatever it takes to win. And a lot of scoring here early on. This is the type of game the fans love to see.
And the type of game that many coaches hate. Very little defense being played on either end.
McCaw with the bucket.
Okay, we got a nice little back and forth going here.
And I love it, Greg. Both sides inflicting damage from the perimeter. We'll see how the defense is adjusting.
Back right after this. leadership of Russell Westbrook is so important to the team, and Stephen Adams.
He's doing just an unbelievable job at just showing the...
You know, so much of leadership is that emotional component, motivating guys to give their all.
And Russ certainly leads by example with his competitive zeal, but he understands also he's got to bring his teammates with him.
And the second quarter getting underway. No team gaining an edge so far. And taking a look at the Warriors' performance here, guys. What are your thoughts?
Well, already in the first period, they found ways to get this offense ramped up.
Well, yeah, small lead so far, but it's building fast, and they better watch out.
In a moment now to reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up for the second quarter of basketball. So for Oklahoma City right now, they've got Felton. Patrick Patterson is out there with Noel. Then there's Grant, and it's Schroeder in at the point guard.
He better watch it. He doesn't want to pick up a third foul before halftime.
And Noel kicks it over to Schroeder. And the three off target. Warriors leading by 6. You know, you look at the roster of the Golden State Warriors in terms of talent level, Bill, where do you think they rank all time? Because they've put now 3 championships together in 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's a tough question because, you know, the Russell Celtics in the 60s, I think had the most talent, but you only also had like 8, 9, 10 teams in the league during those years. But they had teams where there was like 7 or 8 Hall of Famers. The Warriors weren't deep like that. But for what they've done in this era, I think to have, you know, 2 transcendent guys in the same team combined with 2 other guys who are in the top 20. So you have that. And then you have Curry, Thompson, and Durant. I think are probably 3 of maybe the best 8 shooters ever, or 9 shooters, whatever. So you have that over
Big
there.
statement, yes.
And then to do this in a 30-team league is basically impossible. So if you're comparing them like the 80s Celtics and the 80s Lakers, those teams probably had similar talent, but it was also a smaller league. And if you had a 30-team league in 1985, Kevin McHale's not on the Celtics. He's probably on one of the expansion teams.
Starting 4 All-Stars, the Warriors did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm not sure we see this again.
I agree. DeMarcus Cousins, he's checked in for the Warriors. Under trailing by 9. Pass to Patterson. And we're now about a minute and a half into the second quarter. Noel sets a screen for Felton. Over Thompson. There's the triple. And again, Oklahoma City, no good. Okay, well, let's go down to David Aldridge for a report from the sideline.
Well, Draymond Green is a former Defensive Player of the Year, and he remembers his motivation. They said I fell in the draft because what position would I guard? I'll never forget that. I'm comfortable guarding any position. When I'm playing against big guys, I battle even harder. You have to prove a point. I won't be a pushover. Kevin?
Yeah, he never backs down. Thanks, David. A three-pointer is right on target.
He played a very solid first quarter. Now he's taking it up a notch here in the second.
Bill Commissioner Adam Silver believes the 2K Esports League will have the staying power of the NBA, the WNBA, the G League. Pretty powerful comment to make.
And I hope he's right, because I want to be the lead color guy. I want us to be the team. Why can't it be us, Kevin Harlan?
Are you kidding me?
Let's do that. Cut me the check.
Sign
As Rasheed
me
Wallace
up.
would say, CTC. Cut the check.
Bill Simmons is here.
I'm ready.
Evans, he's checked in for your Rebco. Oklahoma City shooting their first free throws of the game on this trip to the line.
And it's been an issue for them, as it was last year, only 72% from the line.
The Warriors making a switch here. Brooks checked in, and Durant gets it to go.
And good passing, setting up a lot of these buckets right now, Kevin. That's been the key.
And first timer of the game called for Oklahoma City. Here matched up against the Golden State Warriors is how they're going to tip off the new season.
And we saw how competitive and entertaining the season series was between these two terrific teams last year.
But it's always a marquee matchup on the schedule. I think it's going to be another fun set of games between them this year.
Jordan Bell's checked in for Golden State. Now here's Westbrook. And it's out of bounds to the Thunder as Oklahoma City retains possession. Second quarter of play with almost 3 minutes gone. Bill, since they drafted Steph Curry, the Warriors' fortunes have really changed. Would you call him the most important pick in the history of that franchise?
I would veer it a different way. I think it's one of the most important missed picks
of other teams
in the history of the NBA, because for two reasons. One, because the Timberwolves had the 2 picks right before and passed them both times, and took 2 point guards, neither of whom was named Stephen Curry. So that was amazing. The pick after him was the New York Knicks, and if he had gone there, you could make a case that, you know, he saves the Knicks. Or you could make the case that maybe he gets hurt wherever he goes. This is somebody that had really, really bad ankle injuries and was lucky enough to be in an organization in Silicon Valley where he got the right kind of treatment and thought about these new wave ways to treat his ankles. He relearned how he ran.
Core was strengthened.
He strengthened this core and basically took pressure off his ankles, where if he had come up in the 1980s, maybe he plays 5 years and he's out of the league. And my point is, if he goes to the Timberwolves or goes to the Knicks, he probably gets hurt, and we probably know Stephen Curry is the guy who got hot on Davidson for 2 years.
And a bust in the NBA, right?
Yeah, or not a bust, or like a what-if guy. Like, oh, man, it's too bad that guy got hurt. And instead he goes to the Warriors. So
well said.
Really a great what-if pick. He has so many bad what-ifs, and this was the perfect what-if.
Nice job by Cousins. I mean, great effort, great energy. I mean, look at that skill. He beat some pretty good defense right there.
It's stolen by Curry. Thompson inside, defended by George. And it's sent back by George. Good D by Bell.
And being that close to the hoop, I thought he had enough room to finish that one.
Curry against Westbrook. Plays it in off the pretty alley-oop.
Love the attitude of Westbrook. Continues to improve at running the offense and finding ways to create opportunities for his teammates.
Timeout called the Warriors.
And they're picking up a lot of fouls already in the penalty. Not a good sign. They need to focus on moving their feet and maintaining a good defensive position.
Catching up on the changes for Golden State. Draymond Green, he's checked in for Cousins. Iguodala comes in for Kevin Durant. Patrick McCaw, he's checked in for Klay Thompson. And it's Livingston in for Steph Curry.
And you could tell he thought that triple was going to fall.
Bill, what a pleasure to have you with us. Great as always to hear your thoughts, your commentary. I hope you join us again soon.
I'd love it. Anytime, Kevin. Tell me.
Thank you. And Greg, how much fun is it to have Bill with us? Such a prominent voice in sports journalism and never afraid to speak his mind.
You know, oftentimes when you gain popularity, you become a little more conservative, a little more reserved, but not Bill. That's why he's maintained such a tremendous following. And that gets him going here in the second after hitting 2 from long range in that first.
Iguodala outside. Green against Grant. Shots good by Green. Green's got 7 points in the game.
One of the more multi-purpose players you'll find. I mean, Green can score from anywhere on the court.
Westbrook passes to George. That's good, and so Westbrook comes up with the assist. Westbrook's got 5 assists in the game.
And that makes it 2 3-pointers in the quarter so far and 4 for the game.
Now here's Iguodala. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. And that one, good. And the Warriors lead by 3.
Oh, the concentration of Iguodala allows him to score with the hand in the face.
8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And the call will be against Sean Livingston. So that will be his second foul of the game. We're in the bonus. We'll go to the line to shoot 2. And he knocks down the first one.
And they're getting to the line a lot in this quarter, guys, and it hasn't been by accident.
Patrick Patterson, he's checked in for Oklahoma City. Felton comes in for Andre Robertson. 27 seconds left to play in the first half. And here's Livingston. He has 6. On the wing, Green. And here's Iguodala outside. That's in. He's got 2 made now, and he's shooting 2 for 3.
And squaring up is Iguodala. Nice follow-through on the release.
Felton kicks to Westbrook. And he lays it straight in. He's got 13.
And they keep hammering away at him inside, forcing the ball into the paint.
And a pretty tightly contested game here as we end the first half. All right, David, thank you. And stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime to get the third quarter started.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here with Shaq and Kenny, and a favorite. Golden State found themselves in a close game in the first. They were unable to ever build a big lead in the first period, with 3 points being their largest cushion. The second quarter saw them lose just a fraction of the lead they held at the end of the first, as they're now ahead by 2 points at the half. Taking a look. That about wraps it up. Time now for the...
The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game. You look at Paul George in this game, guys. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, so far they haven't found an answer for him. A scoring machine here in that first half.
Oh, well, he's a tricky cover. He does a good job of sensing the defense, making the right move at the right time.
The Thunder went into free agency with a lot of question marks, but ended having a big summer.
Able to retain Paul George, and that was the first and largest key. Getting a player like Noel for cheap was also a big help for this group. The Thunder were at a fork in the road last season, but this team now as dangerous as ever.
Durant and Green are the forwards. Curry and Thompson are the 1 and the 2. And it's Cousins in at the 5 spot. That's Steve Kerr's 5 as we get into the second half. The Warriors shooting their 4th attempt at the free throw line right here.
And just last season, they were at about 82% from the free throw line. So those numbers are always going to be positive.
Kevin Durant in the summer of 2017 took a $10 million discount to help the Warriors retain guys like Iguodala and Livingston. This summer, a new deal.
For a superstar like him, the max salary is already a discount. I mean, Kevin Durant deserves top dollar, and with a team moving into a new arena next year, they can afford it.
Now, here's Westbrook. 13 points in the game. That one good for 2.
And Westbrook is a terror from the mid-range. Terrific at sticking it to the defense from that spot on the floor.
Poke loose. Cousins dishes to Curry. From outside the arc. Good. And it's Cousins picking up the assist. Cousins has got 4 assists now tonight.
Another one. Man, he's just gotten into a great rhythm out there.
Part of this falls on the defense. I mean, you know he's hot. You'd like to force someone else to shoot the basketball. Well, no matter what, he's always going to be one of the most dangerous men on the court.
Thompson passes to Curry. Corner shot. Again, Golden State.
How's that for a start? Good on all 3 attempts so far in the second half.
First minute and a half of basketball here in the third quarter. Westbrook kicks to Grant. On the wing, Thompson. That one good for 2.
I don't know if you know, Kev, but these guards out there tell you it's hard to rattle Thompson. Finishing through the contact. It's the M.
And the Thunder with some changes. Nerlens Noel checks in for Grant. And Dennis Schroeder subbed in for Russell Westbrook. When it comes to video review, C-Web, do you feel the NBA has done a good job of incorporating it into the flow of the game, or is there, in your opinion, still some work to be done in this regard?
There's a little work to be done. I mean, nothing's ever perfect, but I think they've done a great job. I mean, you want to get it right, and so there's going to be a little bit of an inconvenience sometimes in going back to it. The main thing for me is to make sure that it is as fast as possible, that you're not giving the team extra time to get together and to huddle up and to call plays. You're not taking the rhythm away from a team that just went on a 10-0 run, and now they have to sit on the side for 2 minutes in real time and see if this call is correct. So the speed that is done with the video review is the only thing I think that needs to be worked on, and that's going to be situation to situation. So I think the NBA is doing a really good job.
Good points. And the Warriors with some changes. Andre Iguodala is checked in for Durant, and McCaw is subbed in for Thompson. Just under 2.5 minutes into the third quarter now. And it's Schroeder missing.
Man, right play, wrong result on that one. Generally, you knock those down.
Well, I like the decision making. I mean, that's a shot you want to keep taking.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
Here's Curry, and Curry throws it down.
An elite scorer in this league. Curry is so active. How he looks for his shots. He's as versatile as they come.
Thunder trailing by 10. Schroeder outside, and the call will be against Patrick McCaw. That is his first foul of the game. Some call it the Ewing theory, teams that play better without relying on a star player. Chris, how sustainable is that?
It's not sustainable. It's real cute until you have the teams that are focused and want to win come in. And usually that Ewing theory, that's usually like in the 5th week of the season or before All-Star break when teams are figuring out themselves. Once everybody has identified their strengths and their weaknesses, you need that horse to ride. You need that big hoss in there, that guy that's dependable every night. And as long as he's a willing passer, unselfish player, no, you need those guys. I don't believe that teams are better without their main guy. Maybe for short stretches, players can rally. But you look at championship winners. I'm trying to think of one that didn't have a superstar on their roster. I just don't buy into that theory.
And the feed from George couldn't be better. The timing, the placement, everything about that dish was pinpoint.
Now a timeout called by Golden State. And he was one of many big names in free agency this past summer. Paul George, a huge part of that. But, you know, Greg, he didn't take long to make his decision.
Many expected George to maybe jump to the Lakers. Had been saying it was his dream to play in L.A. for over a year. But credit Westbrook and the Thunder. They won him over. He was one of the first signings in free agency to re-up with OKC.
Thunder trailing by 8. Schroeder kicks to Noel. There's the pick, and it's Cousins with the foul. That'll be his second foul of the game. Some changes for Golden State. Bell comes in for Green, and it's Thompson in for McCaw. Now the pass to George. There's a screen by Noel. George, no good.
And you know what? You can't get a better screen. Frees him up beautifully, but he just fails to capitalize.
The best laid plans, right? Well, I tell you right there, though, that's one they'll take every single time.
Curry's shot is good.
It just seems like the more he touches it, the more the lead grows.
Fourth foul of the game for him. He's starting to get into that danger zone.
And Greg, certainly the knock on Dennis Schroeder is play on the defensive end.
Nobody questions how effective he is on offense. I just think he has a tendency to take a few too many plays off and too many chances on defense. If he wants to be viewed as a top point guard in this league, he'll need to show some consistency on the defensive end.
Looking at who's out there now for the Warriors. Kevin Durant comes in for DeMarcus Cousins. And Quinn Cook subbed in for Steph Curry. Here's Schroeder. Kevin Durant picking up that last basket. And it's out of bounds. The Thunder able to retain possession. And a quick look at how the Oklahoma City Thunder's schedule is shaping up. On Friday, they'll be playing against Lou Williams and the Los Angeles Clippers. Then on Sunday, they'll tip off a homestand starting with the Sacramento Kings. That's tipped. Schroeder kicks to George. The shot's good on the assist by Schroeder. 22 points for George.
The D has got to do something to take away his three-point shots. He's been knocking them down all night.
Pass to Durant. Iguodala against George. He makes his 9th shot of the game. He has only missed 4.
And not being as aggressive from the three-point line anymore. They had a lot more attempts in that first half. If they play it right, we're talking a 2-for-1.
Exactly, but you still want a decent look because if you miss, the strategy doesn't help.
They set the pick. And it's in after a nice bounce off the right side. Now just a 4-point Warrior lead. Golden State's gotten all 4 of the 3-point shots to go down since halftime. They're lighting it up here. And Durant gets it to go.
Well, he's been the safety valve for them on every possession. So dependent.
And there's the foul. It's on Quinn Cook. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line. For Oklahoma City, they have been good at the free throw line. This one, 7 of 8, and the first one drops. And the Thunder making a change here. Schroeder hits them both.
This is as good as it gets from the charity stripe here in the second.
Livingston dishes to Durant. That's another one for him. His 5th in just 7 shots.
Durant does such a good job of getting high percentage offensive plays. I mean, you can see that over the years.
Stolen by Thompson. With 1 on the clock, and the jam by Kevin Durant.
And he just dangles from the bucket after sending that one through.
And you can see which team has the swagger right now. It's been all about Stephen Curry for the Golden State Warriors. How about a look at today's State Farm assist of the game?
And definitely deserving of the prize tonight. How about the read he made here? Looking like a point guard, putting the pass right on the money.
Oh, beautiful feed. Always a luxury to have a big man who can see the whole floor.
Welcome back. 4th quarter action starting up. 2K Sports, happy to have you with us. And Oklahoma City, looking who they've got to start the 4th quarter. The forwards, George and Grant. Dennis Schroeder is out there with Russell Westbrook. And it's Noel in at the 5. And there's the call on Klay Thompson. That is his first foul of the game. Inside, and it's stolen by Green. Durant, the pass to Iguodala. Shot from the low block, and the shot is good, dropping in off the front of the rim.
And really keeping the ball hopping around here offensively.
Schroeder kicks to Roberson. That one goes in.
And guys on defense gasping for air at this point.
Well, that's because both offenses are relentless. Each side trying to close this thing out.
Now here's Durant. And the jam by Kevin Durant.
Oh, and Durant covers so much ground when he puts it on the floor. You just can't keep him from going where he wants.
Some nice passing by Oklahoma City here. And the dunk by Grant.
And didn't do anything fancy there, but didn't need to.
Nope, his only concern right now is getting the points on the board. And I don't mean style points. DeMarcus Cousins, he's checked in for Kevin Durant. And a switch here also for Oklahoma City. Adams checked in. Now here's Thompson. Curry outside. That's in, coming off the assist from Thompson. Thompson's got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight. Under trailing by 12. Left side, Westbrook. Over Iguodala. And it's Westbrook missing. Oh, wow, guys. Doesn't look good. We've got an injury here.
Yeah, it looks like he's in real pain. Definitely a concern right now.
Oh, that's a tough blow for him. Really the whole team, though. I mean, puts a lot of pressure on the next man.
The Warriors making a switch here. Durant's checked in. And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Hey, guys. Well, Steve Kerr talked to his team during the last timeout. He still wants them to be aggressive and assertive on offense. He said, I don't want us to get content with this lead. Build on it. Don't give them any chance of getting back in this thing. Kevin?
All right, David, thanks. 4th quarter now. We're about a minute and a half in. The shot. And a little luck that time, but it drops. Durant's got 14 points here in the second half.
We had to battle through some tough shooting problems in the first half. I mean, give him credit. It's been much easier for him in the second.
1 made 3 for him for the game. Does he focus closer in? Let's see. And it's been about that execution offensively. I mean, they have been superb.
Yeah, and it's been a team game, a number of contributions. Guys staying focused. That's why the lead continues to grow.
Westbrook, no good. And it's Golden State's ball. They're on a 13-5 run. And they pick up 2. And that's now 18 points for Kevin Durant.
The ball movement on this run has been fantastic and is a big part of why they've been able to get these good looks.
And Iguodala comes to help. And the ball's tied up, so we'll have a jump ball. And it's the Warriors with the ball. Warriors leading by 18. Here's Thompson. And Thompson throws it down.
The tenacity, the attention to detail. It's why these guys are in complete control.
Well, they continue to extend the lead. Terrific play on both ends of the court.
Now a timeout called by Oklahoma City. And Z-Web, you talk about a tandem of shooters. None better than Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, splash. You know, the Splash Brothers. Steph Curry, he is the best shooter of all time. But I would say this, Klay Thompson is not far off. You think about his 60-point game in 2017. He only took 11 dribbles. He had the ball in his hands for only 90 seconds. And he dropped 60. I mean, that's one of the all-time scoring clinics. He's still looking to get into a groove this quarter.
Well, something you never like to see, but guys, he definitely looks hurt.
And I'll tell you, this is something you never like to see.
Oh, man, come on. Injuries like this can change the course of a game, even the whole season. Our thoughts and prayers are with him.
Jordan Bell's checked in for Draymond Green. Durant against George. Right side Durant over George. Durant, that's good. Durant's got 8 here in the quarter.
Strange game for him. Barely made any noise in the first half, and here in the second, he's been everywhere.
Okay, time now for an injury report. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge for an update on DeMarcus Cousins. David?
Kevin, I caught up with the head athletic trainer for Oklahoma City. He told me that in his opinion, the injury does not appear to be too serious. They're going to keep him off the court for the time being, and they're not ruling out the possibility that he'll have to miss a few more games. Kevin, not what they needed at this time of the season.
All right, David, thank you. Hopefully everything works out for him. Now Westbrook. When you look at the amount of threes Chris being taken now, do you think the league as a whole is too dependent upon the perimeter offense?
I don't think so. If you look at Golden State, we all tend to think that they've shot the most threes last year. It actually was Houston.
Right.
And when you look at how Golden State does not just settle for threes, Kevin, but they can shoot them at any time, and maybe the best three-point shooter in the history of the NBA, Curry, will lay a difficult layup over the top of your head just as quick as he'll shoot a tough three from 45 feet. That's what it seems like, but the good teams like a Golden State make you feel like they're shooting a lot of threes, but actually play with a balanced game. Those that try to copycat and just shoot threes, I don't think they've won a championship yet. So I think it's about having that balance, and maybe the league overall is shooting too many threes, but the champions who shoot threes, I don't think take too many.
Catching up on the changes for Oklahoma City. Grant, he's checked in for Patterson. Andre Robertson comes in for Diallo. And Russell Westbrook is subbed in for Luwawu-Cabarrot. And you think about how the Warriors attracted Kevin Durant to the team and all these all-stars coexisting. It doesn't always work like that, does it?
No, and I give a lot of credit to Steph Curry, a two-time league MVP, but he never lets his ego get the best of him. His good-natured calm and sense of serenity kind of set the tone and maybe balance a bit of what Draymond brings to the locker room.
Here's Felton. The Warriors making the shot. Down low, Noel, and that comes off the assist by Raymond Felton. Felton has got his 3rd assist on the night.
And one team is just completely outclassing the other tonight. Spirited performance, and it really ignited what is turning out to be a monster win here for the Warriors.
It was a standout performance across the board.
I mean, it was like watching a cat play with a mouse. They were able to do more or less whatever they wanted.
And it'll go down as their first official win of the new year.
And once it becomes official, this win gives them a nice confidence boost against this team. They'll face them twice more this season.
And one of the key components to this victory, if not the biggest, was the incredible performance for Steph Curry.
He was too much for them to deal with tonight, plain and simple. They tried all sorts of ways to contain him, and nothing worked.
Now here's Thompson. Outside Durant. And he drops in the layup off the glass.
And leaving nothing to chance here on this game-clinching run.
Yeah, that offense shifted into high gear. I love the attack mindset.
It's tipped. Curry with the steal. for the finish, and the jam by Stephen Curry.
And giving the fans what they came to see, a spirited performance.
Yeah, with a double-digit lead at this point, they can pretty much mark this one up in the win column.
Just 2 seconds between shot clock and game clock. And it's Noel with the rebound. Here's Oklahoma City. Roberson the pass to Felton. To the paint. Here's Noel. And that time, also a missed shot.
Oh, great effort there. That's how you defend the paint.
Yeah, he has that capacity. He knows exactly where to position himself to protect the rim.
And this is what Curry does best. He is just a tenacious scorer who just destroys opponents. His offensive arsenal is amazing.
So we see the Warriors taking the game here. It was a tale of two teams tonight, one that was in total control, operating flawlessly, and the other just searching for answers that they could never find.
I mean, the energy here is just so tremendous. Fans involved from the get-go, and once they started to really pour it on, it was fun to see that rhythm and flow from their perspective.
And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Thank you, Kevin. Steph, everyone knows you do a lot of different things for this team, but what would you...
David, thank you as always. That concludes the first game of the NBA